Last but not least, I'm out of Nashville. You see the background here. The Tennessee Titans. Folks, the Titans have had, this is the most interesting offseason. I've followed them for almost 25 years. This is the most interesting offseason they've had. This is, in my opinion, coming in, this is the best secondary they've ever had. This has the potential to be, and I think it probably will be at the end of the season, but a lot of this depends on quarterback play, and that's Will Levis. I'm talking to you. The best wide receiver core they've ever had. Okay, now they do have rookies on the offensive. They have a rookie left tackle. You don't know how that's going to play out. Tristan Wirfs, he did great as a rookie left tackle. They won the Super Bowl, and he really had Tom Brady comfortable there at the end. And they went on and did big things. So big things can happen from a rookie. Okay, they fired Mike Vrabel. Okay, let's go back there. They brought in Brian Callahan. Wasn't a big fan at first, but once I saw what they were doing in the offseason, and I'm having my vision of how this team is going to look from an offensive perspective, the guy's growing on me. Now, I don't know how he's going to manage the clock the way head coaches are supposed to. I know he's going to be calling plays, which could mess up with his clock management skills. See Andy Reid in the early years, but he's got his dad helping him. And I love this defensive coordinator they have brought in. He's a very aggressive defensive coordinator. He reminds me of Greg Williams, Chad. Does that name ring a bell? Greg Williams. That's the year they went to the Super Bowl. He was very aggressive. He was very aggressive as a defensive coordinator. You know, they've got an offensive coordinator in Nick Holtz, but again, defensive coordinator Darnell Wilson. They're supposed to have all these guys back, by the way. They're supposed to have Owuzue, that's the cornerback from Cincinnati. Jarius Sneed, they've been kind of watching him. I think he's a little banged up early, but he's going to play. There's no problem. DeAndre Hopkins is supposed to play. So the whole group is back. And I do think, like I said, they've added Lloyd Cushenberry. He's top 10 center in the NFL according to Pro Football Focus. They signed him. Kenneth Murray, linebacker out of already filling in really well out of the LA Chargers. Played 15 games last year, started 15 games. Looks good. Now, of course, they did lose Dino Autry, who's already been suspended. Al Shazier. Of course, Derrick Henry's going to be playing tonight. Christian Fulton, which should get torched more often than like nobody's business. So the guys they moved off of, they've only got 5 players on defense back, and the players they put around them are major upgrades. Not to mention that E.J. Henderson was signed, traded for, the Rams' leading tackler, linebacker. So everything is on the cohesion of this offensive line, who's playing well in the preseason, but we gotta see them against live bullets and good pass rushers. They're going to see Montez Sweat this week. They're going to Sunday, this week. Yeah, this week, yeah, Sunday. So this is going to be a feisty team that could easily, I could see it being 11-16. Okay, I could see them doing that. I could see Will Levis getting injured early, trying to do too much. Levis was hurt at Kentucky. He got hurt last year. I can see that happening, and Mason Rudolph being in there, and Tennessee being a 5-12 team also. So you could see things go one way or the other with this team. You know, that's what makes this particular team so interesting. At the end of the day, I think they're a borderline playoff team. I think we'll be watching this team in December, seeing what they can do. I've got them at 9-8, coming up short. This is better. Vegas has them at 6.5 over and under. I've told you about Pro Football Network said they could get over 2-15 because they're not really they're not favored in any games. I understand that they're 4.5-point underdogs against Chicago. I think they beat Chicago. I think the Jets go to San Francisco on Monday night and beat them. Unfortunately for the Jets, they got to fly back to New Jersey, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Then they got to come here and play Tennessee week 2. They got to go back on the road on the short week and play Tennessee. I think they beat the Jets. Now, I think Tennessee will probably lose to Green Bay, and they'll probably lose to Miami. And then they got that bye week in week 5. That's not a great bye week, but they come back and they play the Colts. They beat the Colts. They catch Buffalo right. They beat Buffalo. And then they lose to Detroit, but they come back and beat New England. They play at the Chargers. I love me some Jim Harbaugh. I think they'll probably lose that game, but I think they'll beat Minnesota here. I think they'll split with Houston. They'll beat Washington on the road. And actually, the way Cincinnati, that game on December 15th, I think they sneak up and beat Cincinnati on December 15th. And all's well as ends well. They end up at 9-8, and the year before the Titans went to the Super Bowl, they were 8-8 in 1998.